Thanks for joining me to paint some gum blossoms in watercolour with Tombow markers. I did a drawing first and then I've come in and wet it and then added some colours. I've used alizarin crimson, sodalite genuine and amazonite green. You can just see a hint of that lovely green just there. It's very loose. I'm not going to add any more detail to it. I think I really love the leaves, but I've done the leaves many times, so that's why that's easy to achieve a nice effect with the leaves. But the blossoms created this issue for me because they're a bank of colour and they've got little bits of detail and then they've got all this structure in there, so how to capture that was my issue, and that's why they're half dead, because it took me a few days to build up the courage to go for it. And so what I did was an exercise first to get me back into the zone, and then I've attacked the subject. So I hope you'll stick around and see how I achieved this loose painting. Here goes. These are two Tombow markers, 755 and N15, if that means anything to you. So I've basically got a red and a black. I could go red and green, but I don't have a beautiful dark green that would give those leaves, that would do the justice to those incredible leaves. I'm going to begin with a line drawing and just enjoy a bit of free drawing that's going to make me familiar with the subject. Down here in the corner I've got sodalite. I rarely use black, so rare for me. I'm just going to get a cheaper brush to stir that around. This is sodalite genuine, it's a Daniel Smith colour, and what I need is a black, and I know that the Tombow markers won't draw back into black. I'd love it if anyone has a suggestion about a marker that will draw into the wet, because I find so many of them just they don't like, I assume they don't like the moisture on their tip and they stop being able to flow. I'm not actually completely sure. I'm just massaging this sort of like right down here in the bottom of the corner here. I'm just massaging this so that I can get some black, which is so rare for me to use black in a painting, but I just want to continue the black and the red. I have got a little bit of green mixed in. So let's grab this sodalite genuine. It granulates like crazy. That's why I have it. I absolutely love it. And I'm hoping that it's going to do something rather lovely in here. So each of these blossoms that are half dead, which is because I hesitated so long to start this subject, each of the blossoms does have a center. So I wondered if I might put the centers in this beautiful dark colour, but it may not be wet enough. It's not moving very far, not moving how I wanted them to move, that's for sure. Over here. So what I'm going to do is use this to draw in some of the structure that's beneath it. So some of these stems that join the gum nut to the branch. So each of these blossoms here has a gum nut between it. If I put that down there, you can see those gum nuts. So each of these gum nuts have a, each of these blossoms have a gum nut beneath it and all these connecting marks. So I thought I'd try and make sense of it, put in some of the connecting marks. And in fact, when you look into it, there's lots of beautiful connecting marks in there. So I just want to take it that step further, even though it's a rather lovely abstract. I thought if I just take it that bit further, just going to put in some gum nut shapes, then I might be able to give it the structure of the gum nuts. And I'm going to put in a stem. I've got these beautiful leaves, and this big one comes out, and I'm going to make it come down here, and then I'm going to make it touch that leaf. So it comes from about here and it goes up, from about there and it goes up, and it all goes up to these beautiful gum nuts. And then this one is nice and thick, and it's going to come down to the leaf, and keep going out that way. I'm going to make that look a little more like it's connected. There, that's better, and thick at the bottom, because they get thicker and smaller as they go up. Okay, just a little bit more sodalite. This is all connected, so I'm going to make it come out of there and go up to those leaves. And then it needs to connect to these leaves and those blossoms. So hopefully that makes sense in terms of just giving the painting a little more structure. I don't want to do the detail of the blossoms. It would take an incredible amount of time, and I'm not interested. I don't want to. I don't find pleasure in putting in a whole stack of detail. This is the sort of painting that you could take a lot further and make it look more realistic if you wanted to, but I'm just not into it. I just, so I thought I might join these leaves up. They join over to here as well. I'm going to give it a structure that goes behind there. That goes up to there. So I'm just going to make it come back around. I know that doesn't completely make sense, but that will do. These little bits of black that I put in have not blossomed in the way that I wanted them to. So I'm going to get some of this alizarin crimson on my palette and soften these. I'll just soften them on one side. Oh, that's better. Look at that. So that's the sodalite genuine mixing with my alizarin crimson. Alright, so it needs more of those beautiful dark reds in there. So I'm just going to add a few more. I don't want these little stems to look like they're going nowhere, so I'm going to put little marks to kind of look maybe like they're joining up a bit. And I love these little stems here, so I'm going to exaggerate those. They are so beautiful. That's the final part of the blossom that's just sticking up out of the remnants, and they're all over the place, and then they end up in the actual staying in the gum nut. So if you see like this one here, it's got a, if I turn it on the side, hopefully you can see how it's, well, they all do. If I hold them all up, you can see. I'll move them over like that, and you can see they've got that final stamen remaining in the center there. That little bit there is paint off my brush, and I'm not going to touch it while it's wet, because all I'll do is add in some texture that I don't want via my nail. So I'm going to leave that for now. So I don't know that I'm going to do that much more to this painting. I think I'm going to say that was really good fun. I could actually glue some of the dead blossoms. How beautiful is that? I could glue them down, but I think they'll just get lost, so I don't think I will glue them on. They'll get lost and they will knock off. They'll get broken off later on. I've got these beautiful white marks in there and I'm going to leave them. I've got red on my brush. Is there anywhere else I can add some red? I balanced the red by putting it over there, and hopefully I've still achieved the spray that I wanted to achieve. And I think I'm going to, yep, all right, I'm going to leave it. It's too wet to sign, so I won't do that now. But I think I captured nicely the spray, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to use the gum blossoms as stimulus and not overdo it. So I'm kind of pleased with how I didn't overdo it. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope that you'll be inspired to go and paint. See you next time. Bye.